Understanding modern literature requires a thorough exploration of the dynamic evolution of realism and naturalism during the late 19th century. This period marked a significant departure from earlier literary traditions as writers sought to capture the complexities of society, psychology, and the impact of scientific progress on human lives. Literary naturalism emerged as an extension of realism, driven by the belief that external forces such as environment, heredity, and social conditions exerted a deterministic influence on human behavior and destiny. The themes that characterized naturalism often revolved around survival, the struggle for existence, and the darker aspects of human nature. Characters in naturalist narratives were frequently placed in dire circumstances, pitted against societal constraints, and confronted by their own primal instincts. These narratives aimed to expose the often harsh realities of life, highlighting the vulnerability of individuals in the face of larger forces. Émile Zola, a prominent figure in the naturalist movement, meticulously observed and depicted the impact of heredity and environment on characters in his novels. He exposed the societal disparities and inequities resulting from industrialization and capitalism. Zola's works, like Germinal and Nana, not only portrayed the struggles of the working class but also critiqued the moral decay and corruption within society. Through his detailed portrayals and meticulous research, Zola brought to light the hidden dynamics of the human condition. Henrik Ibsen's plays, such as A Doll's House and Ghosts, challenged conventional social norms and the roles assigned to women. He delved into the psychological complexities of his characters, particularly women, under the constraints of a patriarchal society. Ibsen's exploration of the inner turmoil of his characters, coupled with his critique of societal expectations, added depth and introspection to the naturalist approach. His works revealed the psychological strains caused by societal pressures and personal aspirations. Joseph Conrad's novels often explored the effects of imperialism and colonialism on the human psyche. Heart of Darkness, for instance, delved into the darkness within the human soul when confronted with power and moral ambiguity. Conrad's narratives went beyond depicting external circumstances. They delved deep into the psychological struggles and moral dilemmas faced by his characters. Through his works, Conrad unveiled the hidden psychological costs of European expansion and dominance. These three authors, among others, deftly harnessed and reshaped the tenets of literary naturalism to challenge the prevalent ideologies of their time. They used the naturalist lens to scrutinize the inequalities and hypocrisies and ethical dilemmas of society. By illuminating the hidden forces and complexities beneath the surface, they sought to expose the underbelly of progress and highlight the fragility of human existence within the grand narrative of European confidence. Delving into the themes and works of Zola, Ibsen, and Conrad within the context of literary naturalism provides a profound insight into how these authors harnessed the movement's principles to question and challenge the prevailing ideals of their era. Their narratives went beyond mere replication, reshaping the landscape of literature and allowing readers to confront the intricate layers of European society during a transformative period. It is imperative to note that while these three authors, Zola, Ibsen, and Conrad, exhibited a myriad of dissimilarities and did not align with a uniform literary movement, their common endeavor was to peel back the layers of European society and reveal its profound shortcomings. Despite their varied narrative techniques and divergent cultural backgrounds, their collective pursuit was to offer a trenchant critique of the intricate flaws ingrained within European culture of the time. This shared aspiration to uncover these societal imperfections serves as a thematic thread that binds their works together. Zola's literary works artfully painted a vivid tableau of the hidden undercurrents within modern European cities. Beneath the facade of opulence and splendor, his novels delved into the intricate tapestry of class disparities and the insidious corruption that thrived beneath the surface. Ibsen, on the other hand, masterfully employed the dramatic medium to cast light on the inner turmoil plaguing middle-class families. His plays meticulously exposed the prevailing anxieties that reverberated within these families. Furthermore, he skillfully illuminated the persistent constraints that women encountered within the confines of modern marriages, a stark reflection of the social constructs that persisted in that era. In a distinctly different vein, Conrad embarked on a literary journey that traversed the intersections of European interactions with other cultures. His novels stood as poignant testimonials to the harsh and often brutal realities that lay behind the veneer of imperialistic expansion. In an age where imperialism was touted as a vehicle for disseminating enlightenment and civilization to non-European societies, Conrad's narratives unflinchingly unmasked the somber truths that often accompanied such endeavors. Through his stories, he shed light on the disparities between rhetoric and reality, exposing the inherent complexities and injustices entwined with the process of colonization. For each of these authors, the realm of literature served as a linguistic toolbox, enabling them to deftly wield their words in order to both harness and question the underpinning assumptions of contemporary European civilization. Within the annals of literary history, the concept of naturalism frequently emerges as a discernible method of approaching literature during the latter part of the 19th century. However, akin to numerous artistic movements, the task of crafting a concise definition for naturalism is rife with complexities. Endeavoring to encapsulate its essence within a singular framework is a challenging undertaking, as the multifaceted nature of this literary approach defies easy categorization. As mentioned earlier, naturalism shared certain traits with its literary predecessor realism, particularly in its ambition to break free from the chains of romantic sentimentality and melancholic portrayal of isolated poets that were characteristic of the Romantic era. This transition marked her conscious effort to move away from the excessive emotions and solitary introspection of Romanticism toward a more objective and unadorned depiction of the world. During the Romantic period, literature often dwelled on the individual's emotional experiences and their personal struggles, often in isolation from the larger societal context. Romantic poets were known for their emphasis on emotions, nature, and the imagination. In contrast, both realism and naturalism aimed to present a more accurate and comprehensive portrayal of reality. While realism sought to depict everyday life with a focus on plausible and relatable characters, naturalism took this further by exploring the impact of external forces on these characters' lives. The body of naturalist literature, embarked on a bold and courageous journey to capture the often harsh realities of existence that conventional societal discourse often ignored or conveniently brushed aside. This literary movement ventured into the gritty, raw, and unvarnished aspects of life that were often relegated to the shadows. Naturalist writers were driven by a desire to confront the uncomfortable truths of the human condition, even if it meant challenging prevailing social norms and ideologies. Naturalist authors believed in depicting characters not as isolated individuals, but as products of their environment, heredity, and societal influences. This approach aimed to reveal the deterministic nature of human existence, where characters were shaped by larger forces beyond their control. By delving into these often neglected or overlooked aspects of life, naturalist literature sought to provide a more complete and honest representation of the human experience. Naturalist literature's willingness to confront the grim and harsh realities of life set it apart from earlier literary movements. In this endeavor, naturalism stood as a step beyond the earlier expressions of literary realism. It dared to train its spotlight on the most disquieting facets of contemporary existence. This encompassed a wide spectrum of discomforting topics, ranging from crime, corruption, and disease to the stark realities of poverty, prostitution, mental health struggles, alcoholism, and turbulent marriages. In a sense, naturalism shone a stark and uncompromising light on the underbelly of society, challenging prevailing notions of respectability and offering an unflinching mirror to the less savory dimensions of human experience. Similar to their realist counterparts, naturalist writers undertook a mission to transform artistic creations into reflections of external reality. However, the reality they endeavored to portray often delved into the realms that were profoundly jarring, unsettling, and brutally honest. While realists sought to depict everyday lives of common people with a focus on plausible characters and situations, naturalists pushed further by exploring the impact of determinism, environment, and heredity on these characters. Zola holds a prominent position among the proponents of the naturalist literary movement. He not only practiced naturalism in his own works, but also provided a theoretical foundation for the approach through his commentary titled The Experimental Novel, written in 1879. This piece served as a cornerstone, offering a cohesive framework that outlined the guiding principles behind the creation of naturalist literature. In the experimental novel, Zola articulated several key principles that define naturalism. He stressed the importance of thorough and scientific observation of reality, emphasizing that a writer's role was akin to that of a scientist examining human behavior. Zola advocated for meticulous research to ensure that the details of a narrative accurately reflected the world being depicted. This commitment to authenticity extended to characters, actions, environments, and psychological states. Furthermore, Zola introduced the concept of determinism as a driving force in naturalist narratives. He believed that characters were shaped by hereditary traits and external influences, which in turn dictated their actions and fates. This notion of determinism aligned with the naturalist belief in unveiling the hidden forces that dictated human behavior, leading to a more honest and unflinching portrayal of reality. Zola's theoretical contributions emphasize the role of the author as a detached observer, aiming to present a neutral and objective representation of the world. This stance mirrored the scientific approach that underpinned naturalism, where the writer's observations were free from personal bias or sentimentality. Zola's perspective on this new literary endeavor was firmly anchored in the scientific progress of the era. He saw the emergence of this form of writing as intricately tied to the advancements that were unfolding in the realm of science during his time. According to Zola, the naturalist novel was not just an artistic evolution, but rather a seamless continuation and culmination of the progress observed in the field of physiology. This profound connection between literature and science highlights how Zola envisioned the naturalist novel as an extension of the empirical observations and scientific revelations that were shaping the understanding of the world. Naturalism indeed went beyond realism by forging a strong connection with biological science. This connection exhibited a post-Darwinian emphasis on the role of nature in shaping human behavior, reflecting the understanding that human actions and destinies were not solely products of individual will, but were intricately tied to biological factors and environmental conditions. While realism aimed to capture the everyday lives of ordinary people, naturalism delved deeper, exploring the invisible threads that linked individuals to their past and surroundings. Naturalist writing effectively merged the realms of science and literature. It introduced scientific principles, particularly those related to biology, into the fabric of storytelling. The works of naturalist writers emphasize the profound impact of biological heredity, illustrating how traits and tendencies passed down through generations influenced characters, behaviors, and choices. Furthermore, the environment, both physical and social, was depicted as a powerful force that could shape individuals in significant ways. This integration of science into literature lent a unique dimension to their narratives. As characters became more than just fictional creations, they became products of a complex interplay between nature, nurture, and society.